Yo guys, what is going on? It's your boy Meeks, and today we're gonna be reacting to Geography Now Finland. So last video I reacted to the Geography Now Denmark, and last week I reacted to the Norway and Sweden. So if you guys have not checked that out, make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, so Finland is another Nordic country, so very excited for this episode. Let's get right into it. But first, what's the first thing that pops up in my head when I hear Finland is probably you guys' education. I know that you guys have really good education, like I think the best education system in the world, so very interesting.
Let's talk about this place that I totally have no preconceived biases towards.
It's time to learn geography.
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. Welcome to the dark sheep of Northern Europe. All the other Nordic countries are like, la, 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 while Finland is like, we'll get into the heavy metal thing in a bit. But first, now just remember, Finland is Nordic, but don't call it Scandinavian.
Yep,
There's a huge
not Scandinavian.
difference. That title only belongs to Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. First of all, Finland is located in Northern Europe, lying on the Gulf of Finland and the Gulf of Bothnia, east of all that Scandinavian stuff. To the west, they border Sweden on the Torne River, or the Tornionjoki, until it reaches the tri-point border with Norway at the three-country Cairnstone. And to the east, they border big ol' Russia with another tri-point border with Norway that looks like this. The country is divided into 19 regions, or maakunta, with the autonomous region that we'll talk about a little bit later, and the capital of Helsinki, located in the south on the Gulf of Finland, which is also the second most northern capital in the world after Reykjavik, Iceland. The country also owns about 180,000 islands, the highest concentration of
Jeez, 180,000. I think Sweden was like 210,000. But 180,000, that's a lot.
Off the coast in the Åland archipelago. Keep in mind, parts of Finland also lie within the Arctic Circle. That's how far up north they are. And the three busiest airports are Helsinki, Oulu, and Rovaniemi. Now, my favorite part, territorial anomalies! First of all, with Russia, there are too many split islands and penne enclaves. The islands of Aikaniemi and Sursari, Tarasin-Sari Islands and lakes.
Bro, borders are so complicated. There's so much borders that are just like so random, especially in India, by the way. You guys have really random borders. Very complicated stuff.
And see how many you can find. Finally, we get to Sweden, and things get interesting. Most of the borders with Sweden run along rivers that eventually flow into the Torne River, and then we get a strange golf course that is split between the two countries in the town of Tornio and Sweden.
It's actually pretty cool.
Then you have the strange Market Island right next to Åland in the Gulf of Bothnia, which has an inverted S-shaped border. It had to do with the lighthouse
what is
that was
that?
in the Gulf of Bothnia,
What is that
which
border?
has an inverted S-shaped
Bruh. Borders are weird, man. I'm
It
telling
had
you.
to do with the lighthouse that was built belonging to Finland, but then Sweden was like, hey, it's too close to our side of the island. So they drew a border that was like this to give each side equal shares of the land. See this archipelago cluster of islands right here? Yeah, it belongs to Finland, even though most of the people here speak Swedish. Åland is Finland's strange little administrative anomaly. Long story short, it used to belong to Sweden, but then the Russians took over it in addition to
Wait,
Finland.
I feel like I've heard of this since I do know quite a bit about World War II. So, I think Finland defended Åland during World War II, because I think Sweden remained neutral in World War II and Finland actually had to fight the Soviets, and they actually resisted pretty well. So they defended Åland more than Sweden, because Sweden, I don't even know what Sweden did in World War II, but Finland actually fought the Soviets to defend Åland. So I think that's kind of why they're from Finland and not Sweden. So
Then after the Russian
I think.
Revolution, Finland
Could be
became
wrong. Let's
free,
find out.
And then the UN decided Åland should belong to Finland with autonomy. But then the Soviets started attacking again, and then Finland was like, nope, and then fought back relentlessly, defending
Yup, they
themselves
resisted.
and Åland, and Sweden just kind of sat there and didn't really do much for Åland as they decided to stay neutral. Finland defending Åland was kind of like the turning point. Now it's kind of like, Åland, come back to me! Look, Sweden, we had some great times, but you kind of really didn't do much for me when things got crazy. I mean, Finland defended me, okay?
Yup.
He treats me well, okay? His tax incentives are great. It's time to move on. It's not me. It's you. Also, Finland kind of threatened that if Åland was ceded back to Sweden, they would demand the Tornio Valley. Now, before the whole Soviet thing, Finland operated the regions of Karelia, Sala, Kusamo, Petsamo, and some extra islands in the Gulf. After the wars with the Soviets, these regions were all ceded back to Russia, effectively cutting off their access to the Arctic Ocean. Very quickly, some notable sites and landmarks would have to be the old castles like Savonlinna.
But yeah, by the way, you Finnish people, you guys are strong, man, in terms of military. Like, you guys have a lot of conflicts and wars with Russia or the Soviet Union, and you guys resisted. So fair enough. And the Soviet Union had like one of the best armies in the world back then. So the fact that you resisted them and forced them for like a peace agreement, I think, is that's pretty good. Fair play.
And the most renowned
Very strong.
Suomenlinna. You can probably guess what Lina means by now. Rovaniemi is otherwise known as the home of Santa Claus, where you can go reindeer. You can probably
Did I
guess
just
what
see
Lina
Northern
means by
Lights?
now. Rovaniemi.
Whew, man. It's definitely in my top 3 dream in my bucket list. Seeing the Northern Lights, bro. I don't know if it's in my top 3 or just top 1. I don't know, man, but it's up there. I want to see the Northern Lights. And snow. I said this before, but I've never experienced snow, interestingly. So
is otherwise known as the home of Santa Claus, where you can go reindeer sledding.
Crazy.
Inari and Ivalo is where you can get a real Sami traditional cultural experience. Of course, Helsinki is the epicenter of Finnish architecture and culture, with landmarks such as the Tempeli Aukia Church excavated into
Yo,
rock,
that's
Mannerheim
cool.
Street, the busiest road with all the shops and austere post-Soviet influence blocky colonnaded buildings, or the iconic Helsinki.
Yo, that's a cool
austere post-Soviet influence block.
Yo, that's a pretty cool architecture. They're just holding the upper floor. That's pretty cool.
Colonnaded buildings, or the iconic Helsinki Cathedral. Now, those are all great, but Finland isn't really much of a tight metropolitan type of country. They love their space and have quite a bunch of it. Let's see what lies outside these cities, shall we? Now, if you want me to make this simple, some would argue that Finland is the best winter wonderland in the world. I mean, Canada's cool, but they have too many bears, and Iceland is too explodey, and Russia is too cold. Seriously,
Yeah.
though, the land is generally flat, except in the north by the border with Norway, in which the highest mountain can be found, Mount Halti, although the peak is in Norway. However, in 2017, Norway plans to give Finland the peak for their 100th anniversary of independence from the Soviets. Finland is just wonderfully plans to give Finland the peak.
That's actually pretty wholesome. Holy shit.
Although the peak is in Norway. However, in 2017,
Respect Norway.
Norway plans to give Finland the peak
Nice.
for their 100th
That's pretty
anniversary
cool.
of independence from the Soviets. Finland is just wonderfully crisp and refreshing, usually ranking in the top 3 countries in the world with the cleanest air quality. This is partially because Finland is almost
Yeah, they have a lot of
80% covered in
trees.
forests, one of the
A
highest
lot of trees.
concentrations per square kilometer in the world, only behind countries like Gabon and Suriname. This makes Finland the largest producer of wood in the EU and one of the top in the world. Not only that, but Finland has about 188,000 lakes, most heavily concentrated in lakeland, and in addition to lakes, about 10% of
A lot of
the
lakes.
country is
Holy.
comprised of all water bodies like rivers,
188,000
ponds, and
lakes.
streams. When mixed with the land, this makes about 1/3 of the country home to swamps and bogs, making it the highest wetland proportion country in Europe and disputably the world. Yeah, maybe. But our floods are crazier. Fittingly, the name
Bangladesh.
for swamp in Finnish is suo, and the word for Finland is suomi. I mean, technically, they also have like 9 other words for swamp, like rame, neva, leto, luhta, laiteko, appa, paisa, yanka, and korpi. And they love these swamps. One Finnish pastime is jumping in the mud, sometimes naked, and either playing soccer or wrestling.
That does
The
look
landscape of
fun,
Finland
actually.
is
I wanna
shaped
try
way
that.
Because imagine what happens when you crush something under a heavy glacier for a really long time, and then after the glacier melts, you're left with pockety erosion and mineral residue all over.
Yeah,
Not only
very
that,
wet.
Finland is experiencing a post-glacial rebound in which the land is steadily rising along the coast of the Gulf of Bothnia. Every year, Finland gains about 7 square kilometers and is technically rising out of the sea. The longest river is the
Oh, 'cause of-
Kemijoki that
oh, so
passes
the
through
ice is
Lapland
melting.
and reaches the Gulf of Bothnia. And the largest lake, as well as the 4th largest in Europe, Lake Saima, is located in the southeast. Because Finland is so far north, they are known for being the land of the midnight sun, as during summer you can literally see the sun for 24 hours a day in the northern parts by the
Oh
Arctic
yeah,
Circle.
because it's in the Arctic Circle. I think it's same for Norway too, and Sweden, and Iceland, Greenland. Yeah, if you're part of the Arctic Circle in the north, you're gonna have like, I don't know, months worth of continuous days and continuous nights. I think it's pretty cool, but I feel like it's pretty hard as well, because imagine you're trying to sleep you know, you're trying to sleep and it's still sun. There's still sun, so I could imagine it's pretty hard. But I think it's pretty cool actually. But it's hard.
And of course, in the winter
Pretty
times,
hard.
there's hardly any sunlight at all. But if you're lucky, you can witness an aurora
Northern
borealis,
lights.
especially in the northern parts.
The
Oh, by the way,
Aurora
the national
Borealis.
animals are
Wait,
the...
is it the Aurora Borealis? I don't know how to pronounce it. Northern Lights.
First swan and the brown bear. Finnish agriculture is of course very standard for northern European countries. Lots of rye wheat, turnips, potatoes, and of course fishing is huge out here. However, due to the abundance of lakes and rivers, Finns prefer their own domestic freshwater fish like perch, zander, and miuku as opposed to the sea fish. Speaking of which, coming to Finland,
Interesting. I've never tried those before,
try
actually,
reindeer
those
meat
fish.
in some shape or form, whether in stew or grilled. In Lapland, you might even find bear on the menu. You can try mami, a pudding made of rye, and of course, every Finn will make every visitor try this strong, salty salmiakki.
I've actually heard of this. I want to try it. I haven't tried this, but I've heard of it.
So much that they made it into an ice cream, and it's so good, and I'm so mad they don't sell it in my hometown. Oh, yeah, in the winter
I want to
they
try
build
that
ice
too.
hotels, and there's like this cool waterfall.
Ooh.
Man, they don't sell it in my hometown. Oh, yeah, in the winter
Yo, igloos,
they
man.
build ice hotels.
Wow. Wait, so you're telling me this does not melt? Imagine it's summer. But still, I would love to spend a couple days here. That's pretty
Waterfall in the
cool.
Paratisi Kuru area in the Uru Kekkonen National Park. Okay, let's talk about Finnish people.
Finish.
Okay, if you go to Finland, you will most likely experience a rather intense yet intriguing social construct. First of all, the country has about 5.5 million people and is the most sparsely populated country in the EU. The country is about 90% ethnically Finnish, about 6% are Swedish, and the rest is made up of everything else. under the sun, like Russians, Estonians, Asians, and
90%.
They use the euro as currency, they use the type CEF outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Of course, the Finnish people speak the Finnish language, which is arguably one of the hardest languages on earth to learn. Conjugation is a mess. Nouns and adjectives have inflectionary forms, whatever that means.
Yeah, that's probably why they have the best. Oh, I think he's about to talk about it.
Plus, Finland has one of the best schooling systems in the world.
Yup.
In Finland, school hours are shorter, less homework is given, and there are virtually no mandated standardized tests apart from the exam you take in your final senior year of high school.
Bro, less homework, less tests, less school time. Holy bro.
Also, if you get your PhD,
Amazing.
you have the option to get a sword and a top hat along with your diploma. This is also why Finland is one of the... So if you get your PhD, you have the option to get a sword and a top hat along with
Yo, that's sick. You get a sword with a diploma. Woo.
This is also why Finland is one of the most
That's actually
friendly
pretty
countries
sick.
in Europe. Children are taught around ages 9 to 11, and most people of the younger generation can at least hold an impressively fluid conversation. Finland is actually a conscription country in which all men ages 18 and up are required to serve either in the military or civilian services, anywhere from 165 days to a year, depending on the type of service applied for. Åland Islands are exempt from the military conscription, but are required to serve in some kind of institution like the Coast Guard or civil services. Finnish culture is actually pretty funny. The stereotype is that Finns are incredibly quiet and don't talk that much in most public transactions.
Yo, they're just like me. I think I'm Finnish. I'm very quiet. If you see me in public, I don't talk that much. I'm an introvert, and yeah, I usually get along with people once I get to know them first. So yeah, I don't really have friends. It's pretty sad, but I mean, it's 2022. It's
Just mind your business.
happens.
No small talk. The cartoon Finnish Nightmares illustrates this concept pretty well. Check it out. Which is funny because Finland is huge on the boisterous, loud, and flashy heavy metal culture, having the highest concentration of heavy metal bands out of any other country in the world, with nearly 650 per 1 million residents. Finns also invented the
Jeez.
wife carrying competition, in which a man must carry either his wife or girlfriend or any girl that agrees to get tossed around in an obstacle course, and the winner gets the
What?
women's weight in beer. It's very strategic because if you want to win, you might want to carry a lighter wife, but if you want more beer, you better do your squats, bro. Now, if you must
Yo, that's actually funny, but that looks fun though.
want to carry a lighter wife, but if you want more beer, you better do your squats, bro. Now, if you must know one thing about Finnish culture, you have to know about sauna. The Finns invented the sauna. Most homes, hotels, and apartments have a sauna built into them. They actually had a sauna competition at one point, but then a Russian guy died and they had to kind of cancel it. Overall, though, Finns are kind
Someone died in a sauna?
had a sauna competition at one point, but then a Russian guy died and they had to kind of...
Rest in peace.
Overall, though, Finns are kind of brought up in a
Rest in
mindset known
peace.
as sisu. It's
Damn,
kind of hard
that's
to explain the exact
tragic.
definition of it, but it kind of means something like guts or determination and never giving up, which really helped them along the fight with the
Yup,
Soviets. Sisu is to Finland what Jantaloen is to Denmark.
Wait, what was that
There's
again, the
something
sisu?
along means something like guts or determination and never giving up, which really helped them along the fight.
Yup,
with
it helped them in the
Sisu is to Finland what
Soviets
Jantaloen
back in
is
World
to
War
Denmark.
II.
There's so many other things I wish we could talk about, but we're running out of time. But we do have time for friend
Wait,
time.
wait, wait,
So
wait.
many other things.
Angry Birds nostalgia. Is that Nokia? Yo, there are actually a lot of stuff from Norway or from Finland, sorry. From Finland that I didn't know from Finland. Angry Birds nostalgia, very nostalgia.
I wish we could talk about, but
Nostalgia game, only 2000
we do have
kids
time
will
for
remember.
friend time.
Friend zone.
Historically, Finland was kind of always a little lonely. I mean, few, if any, trading routes ever went through this area. Even the Mongols were like, we're good. Nah, yeah, carry on. Nonetheless, over time, Finland did develop relations, and to this day is one of the most diplomatically outreached countries in the world. I mean, the Finnish passport is the #1 ranked and most sought after, as it has the highest number of visa-free countries applied to it. First of all, Finland generally gets along with other Nordic countries. However, they have the biggest frenemy relationship with Sweden. They'll trade and share a beer or two, but when hockey season comes, the bloodbath begins. When it comes
The
to Russia,
Swedes.
Finland kind of has to be their friend because Russia has the longest border with them and business is important. Nonetheless, Russia is kind of seen as like the next door neighbor that you once got into an argument with, but then you kind of fix things up, but then you kind of really didn't get over it, and then you have to see them every other day in the morning as you go to work.
Yeah, it's probably
Germans are
awkward.
always welcome in Finland, and Hungarians are like the long-lost distant cousins that they just discovered and are trying to build a relationship with. Their best friends, though, might be Estonia and Norway. Everybody loves Norway. It's like the Cameroon of Europe. Norway has never had any
Everyone is
controversy
friends with Norway.
Finland, and with the
Facts.
recent mountain gift proposal, relations are only strengthened. Estonia is like the nagging little sister that tries to imitate her bigger brother. I mean, they both even have the same national anthems, but in the end, they are family, and Finland always.
They actually
In
have the same
conclusion,
national anthem.
Finland really
Interesting.
is a winter wonderland with quiet people that transform into metal monsters after a pint of long drink, topping their days off, baking themselves in human ovens for fun. And with that, we finish the Finnish episode. You
That was a good one. That was
Stay tuned.
That was a good pun.
Country
Macedonia?
that must not be named is coming up next.
Alright, that was a really, really good episode. Oh, very short actually, 11 minutes. But I learned quite a bit actually. I'm telling you, bro, if it's a Nordic country or Scandinavian country, bro, it's always amazing. Would love to visit one of these countries one day, for real. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. That is the Finland episode. If you guys are from Finland, comment down below. I love you. And I learned quite a bit. You guys' culture and country is just amazing, man. Especially with the Soviet Union, your history, your wars and stuff. You guys are very badass and determined to win. I love that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next video. Peace.